You ever set up your desk exactly how you want it, and then some giant keyboard eats up half the space you need for your mouse? Yeah, I've been there, and that's actually one of the reasons I started looking into small keyboards in the first place. When I started digging around, one name kept popping up over and over: Keychron. They've got a massive lineup on Amazon. Everything from basic office keyboards all the way to fully custom enthusiast builds. And across the board, they all have great ratings, with a lot of people vouching for them. So I figured it was probably worth putting one of them to the test myself. Now the board I've got today is the Keychron Q7, and this specific one is running the red switches. Now real quick, if you've never messed around with a mechanical keyboard, the switch is basically the heart of the keyboard. And the switches come in different flavors, different colors. Red's are linear, so they press straight up and down, no bump, no click, just smooth and the quiet. So red is going to be the quietest one. Browns give you a little tactile bump when you hit the actuation point. So brown is going to be slightly louder than the red one. And then lastly, you get the blue switches, which are the loudest of three of them. This one's red, so it's going to be the smoothest and quietest option out of the three. And make sure you stick around until the end of the video, because I'm actually doing a full sound comparison against a few other keyboards with different switch types, so you can hear exactly how they sound. Now, when you look at this box, first of all, it's not small. It's not your typical size for a keyboard. When I picked it up, this thing is heavy. Like, my first thought was somebody put a brick in there, and I'm not even kidding. Once it's out of the box, you can see why. This is an all aluminum keyboard, and it's built solid. Now, the size difference, this is a 70% layout, so it's gonna be, smaller than your traditional keyboard. If you put it next to a full-size keyboard like I did here, you can see it's missing the numpad, and it trims down some of that space off to the right. That's a good chunk of your desk that you get back for your mouse. Now, side by side, it's noticeably more compact. But don't let that smaller footprint fool you. This keyboard was so heavy out of the box that the first thought that crossed my mind was, I need a scale to see exactly how much this thing weighs. Now, when I put it on the scale, it came in at almost 1,700 grams, so 1.7 kilos, or right around 3.7 pounds. For a keyboard this size, that is seriously hefty. Honestly, at this point, you're not just getting a keyboard, you're also getting a keyboard and a little bit of an arm workout every time you move it across your desk. That weight comes from the fully CNC machined aluminum body. It's dense, it's solid, and once this thing is on your desk, it's not going anywhere while you type. Now, this keyboard is fully hot swappable, which means every switch under these keycaps can be pulled out and swapped for a different one. I'm just using this little tool to pop a keycap off, and the switch underneath left straight out, and it goes back in just as easy. So if you ever want a different feel down the road, browns, different reds, maybe even the blue ones, you're not locked in. You just pull and replace. Now, next to the USB-C plug, you got a switch, and that's to toggle whether you want to use the keyboard for Windows-based or Mac-based. Once you plug this in, the RGB kicks in. This uses south-facing LEDs, which means the light sits right underneath the switch instead of off to the side. So it lights up evenly instead of getting blocked out by the keycap. You've got a bunch of built-in light patterns to cycle through right out of the box. Waves, breathing, reactive, typing, all the usual stuff. And if you want to go further, this keyboard supports QMK and VIA. So you can jump into the software and build your own custom lighting, remap any key, or set up macros all from your browser, no extra app to download. All right, now let's actually hear what this thing actually sounds like and compare it to a few other keyboards and switches. This is what a mechanical blue switches sound like. Okay, next up we got a keyboard running Hall effect magnetic switches. Let's take a quick listen. This is what a membrane switch advertised as whisper quiet switches sound like. This is what a optical, mechanical, linear switches sound like. So after going through all of that, here's where I land. This is probably one of the best keyboards I've used, in my opinion. It's built like a tank. The sound and feel are premium right out of the box. And because it's fully hot swappable, you're never locked into one feel or one look. You can make this thing exactly how you want it to be over time. If after hearing that comparison, you're leaning towards one of the other switches, that's totally fair. It's really, the switches are really a personal preference. It really comes down to what you like and what your hands like. That's kind of a beauty of a hot swappable keyboard like this one. You're never stuck either way. Now, the only trade-off, and I mentioned this earlier, is the weight. This is not something you're throwing in a bag to take it to a coffee shop. It's built to live on your desk, and once it's there, it's not going anywhere.